Hello and welcome to the Sports Hour. Of course, it is 12:15, so you know that we are going to be live talking about not only the Panthers but the Blue Jays and then AEW. Uh, First, I'll go over what we're going to talk about. We got the Panthers banner behind us because there is a ton to go over with the 53-man roster coming out and a big trade that happened. We will be talking about that in around 20 minutes, maybe even 15, depends on how quick we get through this Blue Jay game. Speaking of that, that is what we will be opening up with today, talking about the Blue Jay game yesterday against the Minnesota Twins. What a game that was. And then we will close out our show with some AEW Dynamite preview and a little bit of extra talk about Forbidden Door. So make sure you stick around, starting off with our Toronto Blue Jays. And yes, football talk. If you are here for football, you tune in at about 15 to 20 minutes. In 15 minutes, if I'm still talking about Blue Jays, you know I'm going to be upset. So you might want to watch that too. But regardless, we're starting it off. I want Jeff Hoffman gone. Oh my gosh, what a season it's been. Up and down and up and down and down and down and down lately. The short of it is 2 straight blown saves. I was a little angrier when I wrote my notes about this because I said I want DFA him at this point. He's not that bad, but legitimately I'm sick of watching him. I really am. Especially when we got Sir Anthony Dominguez at the trade deadline to come in and basically do his role but better. We'll get into it. Just because you pitch for a good team and get your save stats inflated doesn't make you a good closer. Because yes, he is tied for 5th in the league for saves. Big whoop. Big whoop. It doesn't make him any good. So we'll go over the game and then we'll keep talking about this when it comes up. Because it's not going to take long for it to come up. So, Blue Jays lose 7-5 to the Minnesota Twins. To keep it brief, we were winning 4-0. George Springer hit 2 home runs. 4-0. Until Chris Bassett would give up a 2-run home run and get yanked. And then the top of the 7th would come around. Little would give up a run to make it 4-3. But it's okay, because we have Jeff Hoffman. Yeah! Jeff Hoffman, tied for 5th most saves in the league. He's going to hold it down for us. Yeah! That's also Jeff Hoffman, who has the 2nd most blown saves in the league. Which... that 2nd most, he wasn't at 2nd most. He was at 3rd most. But now he's tied for 2nd most after last night's game. That makes me feel crazy as a fan watching this guy. I mean, throw it back to that Marlins game when we made baseball history. Why did we make baseball history? Because he blew a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 9th. Anyways, one run lead, bottom of the 9th. We're back. First batter he faces, pitch 1 in the dirt. Uncompetitive ball. Uncompetitive pitch entirely. Pitch 2, launched 387. Over the wall. Tie game. And, who did it? I don't know who did it, actually. But at this point, you think, our closer just gave up a home run. On the first batter he's faced. Let's hope he could get 2 more guys out, and then we can, or at least, have a good showing against the next 2 batters, and then maybe switch them out, because, there's the 3-batter rule. Then, former Blue Jay draft pick Austin Martin gets on base in 2 pitches. Uncompetitive at-bat. Horrible. That's 4 pitches, 1 run scored, a base runner on. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just let that sit for a second. He would then advance the 2nd on a ground out. Hey, we got an out. The next batter would then be plunked. Would then allow 2 base runners on. Why is Hoffman still out there? You could have taken him out by this point. Why did we ever take out Sir Anthony Dominguez? He was in the top bottom of the 8th. He got the last out on a 5-pitch at bat. The final 2 pitches of the at bat were both 98-mile-per-hour fastballs. Why do we take him out? Shockingly, Hoffman would get the next guy out. But it was on a fly ball hit hard to center field, which isn't a great sign. It's an out, and outs are always good, but I don't know. It worried me. And then with 2 runners on, Matt Wallner would practically end the game as he hit a homer to right to make the score 7-4. It's over at this point. And we kept Hoffman in. Even after he gives up 2 home runs, we keep him in the game. Crazy decision there by John Schneider. He does get out of the game. Merciful. Thank goodness. 1 walk, 1 strikeout later. We'd be out. We would score 1 run in the bottom of the 9th to lose 7-5. So, little history. I was a big Blue Jay hater last season. I mean, I've been a Blue Jay fan my entire life. I love this team. I always will. But wow, last season I hated them just because it was an awful product. And I felt like a lot of it went on coaching because the team hasn't changed that much from last year to this year. It's still Bo, Vladdy, Varsho, Springer, and then Barger's made an appearance this year and been actually good, but he played last year. Ernie Clement played last year, but it's a lot of the same guys. Springer, I think I mentioned him, but it's a lot of the same guys. The team didn't change that much. The pitching staff, we brought in Scherzer, but Bassett, Barrios, Gosman, all there already. So what changed? I don't know. This year just the vibes are good, I guess. But last year, awful. I thought it was a coaching staff issue because, we had players I liked and we had things that should, be going the correct direction, and they weren't. And this year it is going the correct direction. And anyways, the point is, I didn't like John Schneider last year. I thought last year warranted a firing and bringing in a new guy, bringing in a new culture, but we didn't. We stuck with him. And this year, it looks like it's working out. Until we get to this, where our bullpen has been so bad lately. This last month, since our hot streak ended, it's been really that bullpen that is souring us. Leads given up late in games, in the 7th inning, in the 8th inning, in the 9th inning, and that's fully on the bullpen. I'm loving our starting pitchers right now, and I'm really liking the bats. The bats are coming out. Vladdy's been fantastic. He's been so good. Springer, what a resurgence. Bo, consistent, which is all we can really ask for. I mean, Varsho's hitting dongs like you wouldn't believe, and yet we blow games so consistently. And again, our bullpen, maybe I don't like the names. Maybe I'm not big on Varland. He had 1 good. His first outing was good, and since then, it's been run after run after run given up by this guy. Nance, he's mid. Little, he's mid. At best, these guys are just mid pitchers. And then Hoffman is trash. Absolute garbage. And then if we go back, it was, I think he got a blown save also against the Dodgers in the game we won. It's too much. Even in games we win, he blows saves, which is rare for closers. Rare. The only guy I like is Sir Anthony Dominguez, really. And Varland, when he's on, is great. It's just he's been on 1 time for us, which I remember seeing. I'm pretty sure it's Twins. Pretty sure we got him from the Twins. Twins fans being mad that they gave up Varland because they, arbitration control. He's not too old and he's got exciting stuff. You can have him back, honestly. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying the ride. It's again the whole time, and for the last, I guess, 2 weeks, I guess since I've been doing the show, I always bring the talks back to the playoffs because that's what matters, the playoffs. And at this point, I'm not confident in the Blue Jays being division leaders, which we all thought was kind of, penciled in for a while there. And I'm not confident in winning games in the playoffs because of the bullpen. I've said it time and time again, and I will shout it from the rooftops. This is not a World... Honestly, I'm getting to the point, this is not a World Series team. We dropped a game to the Pirates. We dropped a game to the Twins. We've dropped games to Athletics, the Royals. The games we drop, the series that we're not sweeping are going to reflect heavily on the good teams that we face in the playoffs. Because if we're only taking 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, what are we going to do against the Red Sox or Yankees? Or if we even make it to the World Series, the Dodgers or the Phillies, teams like that, we're screwed. We really are. We're not going to be able to stay with them, stay relevant, and compete day in, day out. Unless we go on the hot streak of a century again, like we did before, like when we swept the Yankees. Because that's the thing, is this team has shown it can be that World Series contender, that team that people think it can be. Because we have gone against good teams and beat them. Again, we swept the Yankees. That was back Canada Day, which is crazy how long ago that was now. But again, unreal performances against good teams. They're drying up, and they're drying up in August, which is bad because the playoffs are in October, and we have all of September still to go. And in September, the schedule for the Blue Jays is so tough. I'll pull it up real quick and go. We'll talk about each series because there's not that many left. Our last game tonight against the Twins is at 7:07. If we lose this game, if you think I'm like animated and angry now, the neighbors might hear me shouting about how disappointed I am. Because there's no way that this Jays team can be treated as legit and lose twice to the Twins. The Twins! Anyways, back to what the point. The rest of the season for our Blue Jays. Again, we talked about before, MLB's best Milwaukee Brewers coming next. Which is, it worries me. I can't lie to you. It worries me a lot. And then coming up after the Brewers is going to be the Reds, who are 68-65. A pretty good team, honestly. It's just about the consistency of the pitching over in Cincinnati. And it's a team that, again, in a 3-game series, we should beat them 3 times because we're a better team. Just flat out, our starting pitching is better. Our bats are better. It's just, can the bullpen maintain, and can we, win a couple games, maybe 5-4, which sucks because you don't want to win games 5-4. You don't want to do it in hockey. You don't want to do it in baseball. After that, we got the Yankees, which, yeah, it's gonna be tough. That's the test right there. After the Yankees, we face off against the Astros. Also tough, also a top team. After them, the Orioles, which you would think would be relief because they're 60-72 at the moment. But no, if you listen to people like my dad and people like my grandfather, the Blue Jays play awfully against the Orioles. So we'll see how that goes. After them, the Rays, who at this moment in time are 64-68, which, again, we should beat them, but it's an American League East team. We struggle against teams we should be beating. After that, the Royals, which, again, we saw it before. We struggled against them. So, who knows? For reference, they are 68-65. I think that's the same. That is the same record as the Reds. And then the final 2 series of the year, the Red Sox and the Rays. A lot of must-win games in there. And I don't know if this team will be able to take the pressure. I don't know if Schneider will be able to coach them, manage them, be able to keep their emotions in check. I don't know if the bullpen is going to be good enough to close out the year. There is a very good chance that we finished 3rd in the American League East this season. And that's something that us fans, we have to wrap our heads around, is that, yeah, that's a real possibility that we finish 3rd in the division after the season we've had. Because currently, the standings are Blue Jays in 1st at 77-56. The Red Sox trailing us by 4 games. They're 73-60. And then the Yankees are 4.5 games back at 72-60. So, hopefully, I agree here with Austin. Yankees suck, and we're going to destroy them when we face off against them later on in September. But until then, I'm worried, especially about the Red Sox. Um, and I agree, Austin. I think if the Blue Jays were just 500, then Schneider would have been fired. Because that's what we did to Charlie Montoyo before. We were 500 with him and then gone. So, who's to say? And then in the National League, yeah, that's not important. It's looking at the playoff race, though, that's what is important. And who we're going to face. Teams like the Royals, teams like the Reds. Well, the Reds are in the National League, so we don't have to worry about them. Thank goodness. Because they would be... But, again, it's teams like the Reds who are in that hunt for the final wildcard spot. They are 3.5 games back on the Mets right now in the National League. They're a team that's playing for everything. And so it's a team we can't coast against any of these teams. Facing off against the Royals, they're 1 game back of that final wild card spot. 3 games back, they're 1 spot off, excuse me. This is just how tight the standings are. It's been a super competitive year for baseball, which, I mean, love it. It's just awesome. But it's also terrifying, and that's, I guess, what makes it fun. So we'll enjoy the ride, I guess. We'll enjoy our starting pitchers. I can't gush enough about them. Bassett was good today. Not his finest, but he's definitely losing that playoff starter spot to the other guys. Just because he's more of a 7 out of 10 when the other guys can get up to a 10 out of 10, but they also sometimes are a lot worse. Bassett, though, 5 2/3 innings pitched, with 4 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. The only earned runs were on a home run, so I think that's a great outing, personally. A 4-hit only outing and giving your team a chance to win, that's a good outing. So we didn't win, and so it looks worse, but he didn't get the loss. Shout out Jeff Hoffman. Today we got Eric Lauer, the lefty, coming in to start, which I actually really like. He's been great this year, 8-2 with a 2.76 ERA. We'll see it tonight. I really believe in him, the former Milwaukee Brewer. Okay, it's been 17 minutes of talking about Blue Jays. If you are tuning in expecting football talk and you're thinking, wow, this has been too much Blue Jay talk, well, luckily for you, sadly for my Blue Jay fans, it is over. We are going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers because we do have a lot to go over. Of course, there's the elephant in the room of the trade made literally this morning while I was napping. So there's that. And then I guess before we get into the Panthers, I do want to talk about football news because the Kansas City Chiefs star wide receiver Rashee Rice has officially been given his suspension. 6 games to start the year. So, no Rashee Rice until week 7 for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's big. That's huge. And a 6-gamer at that. It's going to go into effect. It's gone into effect already. Sorry, my Chiefs fans out there. That's a pretty big loss. If we're being honest, that is a pretty big loss. And then the other news that came out was Kyle Hamilton re-signing. So there's that. Not as big of news, obviously, but still crazy. The other, okay, now we'll get into our Carolina Panthers. Had to get that out of the way because that's huge. I think it's warranted, honestly, though. Don't be an idiot. Don't street race. Don't crash your car. Don't endanger the lives of other human beings. Simple as that. He'll serve his suspension. He'll come back, as all things will. Will he learn his lesson? It's all you can hope. But it's stupid. It's a stupid thing to get into in the first place. You should never be in that situation. Hopefully he learns from it. He'll always have that on his record now, just in the public perception too. But again, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, so I doubt anyone's really going to think about it. Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, I could go on. Again, sorry, Chiefs fans. To the task at hand. The Carolina Panthers trade Adam Thielen to the Minnesota Vikings for a 5th-round pick, which I'm good with. I'm honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. I saw a lot of fans being like pretty outraged. It's like, this is one of Bryce Young's favorite guys to throw to, and why are we moving him for something that's not going to help us this year? And I get their points a little bit. But Thielen dealt with injury last year, and we had Coker come in and play the starting slot receiver role, and he excelled. As a 6'3 slot, he's huge, and just a guy that's like, I got no doubts. No doubts in my mind that he's going to come in and fill that role beautifully. I also like it for Minnesota. I mean, they're dealing with a lot of issues at wide receiver right now. I think Jordan Addison is out, and then like KJ Osborne's also injured, and a couple of their other guys. So to bring him back to Minnesota, a little reunion, and you know, all out, first and foremost, thank you, Adam Thielen. The only weapon brought in for Bryce Young in his rookie year that actually panned out. Because if you look at the list, it was If you look at the list, it was Hayden Hurst, who is out of the league. It is Laviska Shenault Jr., who's out of the league. It is DJ Chark, who is out of the league. It was Miles Sanders, who is now on the Cowboys and is about to be out of the league. And then Adam Thielen, who stuck around. His other weapon that they drafted was Terrence Marshall Jr., who is also, he's on the Eagles. Yeah, he's on the Eagles. He might be off the roster by now. I wouldn't be shocked if he was cut. So, thank you, Adam Thielen. Thank you for being a legit guy for Bryce Young. I mean, he's made some huge catches. He made that big one-handed catch against the Buccaneers last year, and then he also had a clear-as-day touchdown that was called back. That makes me think, makes me think about how things could have been if things went right. I think it was in the Eagles game he caught that touchdown that they said wasn't a catch. And I say that's still BS. So thank you, Thielen. I could reminisce on some memories, like one of Bryce's go-to guys on 3rd and 4th down, because we like being aggressive. But again, personally, the trade, I love it. If you want to go over our wide receiver core, and I kind of knew this was coming when the 53-man roster was announced, which we will go over as well. It was announced our wide receivers are going to be Tetairoa McMillan, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, he was part of it, Jalen Coker, Jimmy Horn Jr., who made the team, Bryson Tremaine, who made the team, and David Moore. Boo! Boo! We don't like David Moore. He's not good. He's Canales' guy, so he's going to stick with him, but I do not like him. And this meant Hunter Renfrow was cut, which is an interesting choice because I think he's just, he looked back, he looked good. I thought he was going to step in, and if we were going to trade Thielen, I thought he was going to take over for slot. Now it looks like more so that's going to be Coker's job. Yeah, yes, which I'm good with, if you can't tell. But, yeah. Side note, before we get into more talks about this, I read on Twitter from Panthers beat writer. I don't remember which one, and it could have not been a beat writer. I could have been mistaken. I could have just been a fan speaking into the void. But, again, I liked their words. They said that there may have been a little deal between Dan Morgan and Hunter Renfrow, the Panthers organization, and Hunter Renfrow, being that he was always going to be put on the practice squad and cut out of training camp. Hunter Renfrow said Carolina was the only spot that he wanted to play in. And also, again, this is the part where I'm like, I don't know how true this is, but they said that because of his veteran status, he can't be taken from stolen from our practice squad because of his veteran status. Versus a guy like Jimmy Horn Jr., where if we put him on the practice squad, or Bryson Tremaine for that matter, if we put either of those guys on the practice squad, a team is probably going to scoop them up. So that's why we put Hunter Renfrow down, and I saw a lot of fans outraged by this, and outraged without thinking twice about it. Like, yeah, let's wait and see. I mean, last year we put Coker, we cut Coker, and then he came right back. This is something that this Panthers team does. This is something that Dan Morgan does. It's just that Hunter Renfrow is a huge name in comparison to, a huge name to be in cut talks, I'll say. Either way, Adam Thielen is gone. It's over. The last piece of the Reich era is no more, thank goodness. And then, yeah, thank you for your time. I talked about it before, but last year, Coker did take over in the slot when Adam Thielen was injured, which I will go over what games those were. I'm just going to pull it up. But the point is that Coker was so good in those games that it is probably why we feel comfortable trading him. And he was so good in those games that he became fantasy relevant for a little bit. So Adam Thielen last season, he missed weeks 4 through 10. And then week 11 was the bye week, and he came back after. And after the bye week, wow, was he good. When fully healthy, he had a 99, 102, and 110-yard game. In that 110-yard game, he had 2 touchdowns. He was unreal to close out the season last year for us. Again, thank you, Thielen. I'll reminisce over our time that we had with you because you were the only good wide receiver we had for so long, a horribly long amount of time. Last year finished with 600 yards while missing weeks 4 through 10, which I think is like crazy. What a great season from a 34-year-old wide receiver. So we're looking at weeks 4 through 10 of the NFL season last year. The 22-year-old at the time, now 23-year-old Coker, took over and had some really big games against Chicago with Andy Dalton throwing him the ball, went 4 for 4 on targets and receptions for 68 yards. There was a game against Denver where he really popped off, was the 12th best wide receiver on the week, where he had a touchdown and 78 yards on 6 targets, 4 catches, just 4. That's all it took for him to be super effective. And then he had a good game against the Giants where the offense wasn't airing it out too well in that game. We had over 250 rushing yards, I'm pretty sure, as a team. He still had 8 targets, 3 receptions for 41 yards. And then to close out the year, he had a great game against Dallas, 110 yards and a touchdown. And then closed out the year versus Atlanta, 7 for 7, 62 yards, and looked like Bryce's guy in that game and was in a yard away from a touchdown. Which was then rushed in by Bryce Young afterwards. So, hey, we'll take it. And so now the 53-man roster, those were all announced yesterday. Although I don't think I haven't seen the Chiefs one, which is weird because, they're a Super Bowl contender. I kind of wanted to see it. Well, they're more than a Super Bowl contender, but, best team in the league year in, year out. I kind of wanted to see what they're rolling with. Nope. But we can look at the Panthers 53-man roster because that has been completely announced. Shout out to ourlads.com, a awesome website for tracking rosters. The Panthers roster was last updated 9:51 a.m. today, which includes the trade, was the Adam Thielen trade. So the wide receiver room right now, what you can expect to see week 1. Our left wide receiver, this is just how they do it. It's left wide receiver, right wide receiver, slot wide receiver. It's X, Y, it's left, right, it's weapon, it's whatever you want to call it. This website just does left and right, which I like a lot. So left wide receiver, Tataroa McMillan, our guy, T-Mac, who's going to come out and just dominate as a rookie, we hope. Maybe the first game is going to be a little shaky. We'll see. I'm really excited about that game against the Jags. Anywho, our right wide receiver is going to be Xavier Legette, and then our slot receiver is Jalen Coker. Backing up each of those guys, backing up Tataroa McMillan is David Moore. Backing up Xavier Legette is Bryson Tremaine. And then, of course, no news yet on if Hunter Renfrow is going to be called up. But we'll see, or signed back, or whatever. The line is the same as ever. The left tackle, Ikem Okongwu, with Brady Christensen behind him. Left guard, Damian Lewis. And we don't actually have a backup left guard. Luckily, guys like Cade Mays and Chandler Zavala can play that, so I'm not worried. And Brady Christensen. Again, our backups are so versatile. It's awesome. And that's the thing, is our backup guards and tackles were our starting guards and tackles in Bryce Young's rookie year. So it's no surprise that we were absolutely awful back then at protecting the quarterback. Anyways, back into it. Damian Lewis, left guard, potentially the best left guard in the league. I'm so excited for him this upcoming season. Austin Corbett at center, Robert Hunt at right guard, and Taylor Moton on his new contract at right tackle. We don't got to worry about him going anywhere. Our perennial best offensive lineman is sticking around 2 more years, even in his advanced age, which personally doesn't worry me. He's got old man strength now. And then we look at the tight ends, and this is actually really interesting and a point of contention for me on who is going to be tight end 1, because our lads has it listed as Tommy Tremble, and I disagree. I think it's going to be Jatavion Sanders in year 2. We already saw Jatavion Sanders getting tight end 1 reps last year, even before the Tommy Tremble injury, so no surprises if he's going to be slotted in above Tommy Tremble. The big thing Tremble has over Sanders is the blocking ability. He's just a better blocker because he's been in the league longer. And then, of course, Mitchell Evans is going to be backing them up. Our tight end 3, our rookie. Really excited about the man out of Notre Dame. And then we got James Mitchell, who caught a touchdown against the Steelers. Good for him. Looking at the quarterbacks, we got Bryce Young, obviously, and Andy Dalton. We cut Plummer. We're free! We're free! Oh my goodness! Preseason's over. We don't have to watch Plummer play for our Panthers anymore. Just wait until next preseason when he does come back, and then we'll all hate him well over again. But we're free. We are finally free. And then the running backs are Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, and Trevor Etienne, which I'm super excited. That's a great running back room. Love the offense. I'm like, again, this is what the bright spot of the team should be. And it should be a far cry from what last year was. The offense was a big struggle. I mean, not that big, I guess, with just Bryce Young only having the amount of yards he did, which was around 2,400. Just because he got benched is why that's lower. But again, if Bryce Young never got benched and he played like he did to end the year, he still only ends up with around 3K yards. Maybe 3.2K, like 3,200 yards. But the hope is this year, 3,500 bare minimum for the passing offense, and then 1,000 rushing yards from Chuba again, and maybe 600 from Rico Dowdle, and I'd be more than happy. It's a tall order, though, for a team that's been bad forever, but I really think this is the bright spot of the team. I don't see many weaknesses in that offense. The line is good. We finally have a good wide receiver core. We have good tight ends. I at least like the tight ends. And the running back room is good, and Bryce Young poised to break out this year. Looking back over that chat, of course, my dad talking about how, of course, he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, talking about the wide receivers and how the Chiefs kept 8 wide receivers on the active roster, which is a lot. And that's because they knew this was going to happen. They knew it was going to be 6 games. They had to have. And then Austin, the elbow drop from the top rope. Yeah, because when 4 of them get suspended, you still have a starting lineup. Yeesh, you're really going to say 4 of them are going down? We know that they're, the chiefs of the jailhouse, but we'll hope, to see them, stay pretty clean. They got their tight end who is, engaged to Taylor Swift now, so, gotta be a little cleaner around the edges here, Chiefs. I'll make fun of them for the end of time. You guys have won enough Super Bowls to be made fun of. The defense, of course, we've gone over it before, but now the final roster cuts are out, and this is big, actually. This is really big. The D-line has been solidified, and I really like the backups here, which is weird to say, but we'll get into it. We got bickering in the chat going on. And but anyways, looking at the defense for our Panthers here, Derek Brown, healthy, is back. Bobby Brown, the Brown Bros, as they're being called. And then Turk Wharton. Turk Wharton is getting that starting right defensive end position, which, hey, good for him. I'm really I'm really glad he won out that job over guys like Ashawn Robinson, who we've seen before to be pretty bad. So yay, Turk Wharton. He's gonna hopefully be good. Of course, sorry. Left side is Derek Brown. Our nose tackle run stopper is going to be Bobby Brown, and then the right side is going to be Turk Wharton. The edge rushers, the left outside linebacker, who is that's more likely than not just going to be an edge rusher, is going to be Patrick Jones the second to start the year, but Princely Umalainen is behind him, and I think Princely is going to take that job sooner rather than later because he was one of the highest graded on PFF rookies on defense for all of preseason and had, I think, the fourth or fifth highest success rate in blocking, which was over 20%. This is a guy that I think by week 6, he's going to be a starter. We look at the right outside linebacker, which is also our right edge rusher. That is going to start the season as DJ Wonnum. Real big body there. He's never going to do any dropping back. I hope not. His backup is Nick Scorin, who, of course, rest up, Nick. Hopefully your lungs all good, and hopefully you'll be ready to come in early in the season. Maybe not week 1. I would prioritize his health over anything else. But either way, I think both the rookies are going to steal the job. I mean, DJ Wonnum has experience, and he wasn't horrible last year. He's kind of bad, I won't lie. But he might keep the job a lot longer. But again, Nick Scorin, he's like a beast, and so I wouldn't be shocked one bit if he takes that job. Honestly, though, that D-line with the edge rushers, it makes me happy. And then the backup nose tackle is Cam Jackson, who is number 55. If he ever gets in, I'm so excited because he is just a brick wall of human being, and he is going to stuff runs, and we have struggled so much at that last year. I feel so confident in our run-stopping defense now. It's all on Evero now to use these guys correctly. Will he? Nah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm worried. I'm so worried. I really think, again, this will be the year we fire our defensive coordinator. If we're 500, like if we're 4-4, maybe not, because 500 at that point is not horrible for a team that's struggled to be 500 at that point. But if we ever get down to like 4-6, gone. Don't hesitate. Don't wait for us to go to 4-7. Don't wait for a 3-game skid to happen. Shortest leash in the league. He should have the shortest leash in the league. The inside linebackers, that's the worst part of this team. I do like Trevin Wallace, but he wasn't great last year. Our 3rd-round pick was forced to play every snap, basically, as a 3rd-round pick, which is not something you really want to happen. But, in year 2, maybe he makes that growth. I'm really hopeful. And Christian Roseboom, who we got from the Rams. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think he's very good. I don't think fans think he's very good. The backups are Bam Martin Scott and Claudwin Trellis. And I'm worried. That silence that you're hearing, yeah, that is worried. That is anxious. Not excited about looking at our inside linebackers. So, again, in that short to medium passing game, we're going to get torched, I think. I'm not so worried about our cornerbacks. Mike Jackson on the left side, J.C. Horn on the right side. I like both those guys. Mike Jackson actually came out last year and showed that he belongs as an NFL player. Maybe not as a starting corner, but he belongs. And then our safeties are going to be Nick Scott at free safety and Trevon Moehrig at strong safety. And then the nickel back is going to be Chow Smith-Wade, which is really good to see. He's got that role all to himself. The backup to J.C. Horn is Corey Thornton. He won the job. He is officially the backup corner, and we're going to see him in actual games. He is the UDFA to watch this year. It's him and Bam Martin Scott are our UDFAs that we brought in this season. Last year, of course, it was Coker, who turned out quite well. So hopefully it happens again. And then the backup to Trayvon Mooring is officially Lathan Ransom, who I think can honestly, if Trayvon Mooring can play more of a free safety type game, I could see him taking the starting strong safety spot, which would be shocking for a 4th round pick. Maybe I'm projecting to next season, but we'll see. And then the other backup safety is Damani Richardson, who is trash. Oh, is he bad? And I was worried he was going to get the starting spot, which, to be fair, Nick Scott, trash, also awful. Worried. Free safety is going to be bad, so we're going to get burned deep, and we're going to get burned in shallow with the linebackers being bad, which is scary. I think a lot of games, hopefully, should be shootouts and not blowouts that are one-sided, because I think the defense that gave up the most points in NFL history last year is en route to give up a lot of points again. Who could see that coming? I know. And then we see Ransom is a beast from Dave Collings from his Buckeyes, which I'll give a OHIO for Ransom. But of course, as we get closer to the college football season, we'll look a bit at the Buckeyes, but mostly we'll be looking at Bill Belichick and the and the North Carolina Tar Heels, which who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I'm so excited. So, that's not the official 53-man roster because we have one last thing to talk about here for the Panthers. And the last battle that was raging on, I can't remember if I talked about this at all yesterday. I don't think I got around to it, so here we are. The kicking battle, the kicking war has ended. The veteran Matthew Wright versus the UDFA rookie Ryan Fitzgerald. And Ryan Fitzgerald wins, beats out the veteran Matthew Wright. As soon as I saw that, I went over to one of my 32-man fantasy leagues, looked at the guy that had Matthew Wright, and texted him saying, you might want to go elsewhere. And then in that same league, I had the kicker for the Dolphins, who's now on the IR and will miss the first 4 weeks of the season. And you know what I thought? I'm going to roll with Fitzgerald. Let's do it. I love it. I mean, he's going to be shaky, and I'm ready for that. I'm nervous, but he won the battle over a veteran. That's got to mean something. Of course, Sam Martin, our punter, we got from Buffalo. From my Buffalo Bills fan friend, Nolan, he let me know, good punter. So no worries there. And then the punt return and kick return guys are Trevor Etienne and Jimmy Horn Jr. with David Moore backing both of them up in each position as the third stringer. I'm excited about it, but I'm also really worried about it. And the Panthers are lacking a true gunner on punts to take out the punt returner. So we'll keep our eyes open to see who takes that job and if we bring someone in. Of course, we have a roster spot now with Adam Thielen being traded. The reserves, the pup list, the physically unable to play football, is Jonathan Brooks. Sadly, hopefully he comes back next year, but again, we'll see. Our running back room, it's loaded now. And then the IR is some guys that'll probably never play. LeBron Ray and Popo. And Popo. Sorry, can't pronounce your last name, and I'd rather just say your first name. So I'm very excited about the Panthers this season. I mean, no reason to not be excited at this point. Any last thoughts? I mean, the game against the Jaguars, I was texting with my friend Nolan earlier on, and he said he would pay an unreal amount of money for that Panthers-Jaguars game right now. He said, I would pay good money for the Panthers-Jags game to be on my TV right now, and I fully agree. It's all I want right now is just to watch my favorite team play football, and that is going to be such a fun game. With Liam Cohen, new coach in Jacksonville, they're not going to be as bad as they were last year. No way, no how are they as bad as they were last year. But they could still be bad, and we could still win. We could beat them. We very much so can. But really, it's gonna come down to that. If we want to do a quick little Panthers season preview, we'll go over the first 5 weeks, because I know the first 4 weeks are legitimately winnable games. The first 5 weeks, honestly. I think week 6 is where it's our first real tester of a game. Maybe week 5 is a real tester as well, but either way, Jacksonville week 1, very, very excited about Jacksonville week 1. We got Arizona week 2, which Maybe they are improved from last year, but we beat them last year. I think we could beat them again, but maybe we don't. Maybe they come out improved from last season. Maybe they're fresher early season. I know the Cardinals. They're always good to start the season, and they always suck to end the season. So maybe that's a game we drop. Three. Also, both games on the road. Jacksonville on the road in Jacksonville. Arizona, of course, in Arizona. Then our first home game of the year, facing off against the Falcons. We better beat them. We better beat them. Oh, I really hope we beat the Falcons at home. If we lose to them on the road, that's okay. But if we lose to them here at home, we better beat them on the road. I'll be sick if we go 0-2 against the Falcons. And then week 4 in New England, which luckily the weather is not going to be an issue. I mean, it'll be a little chilly, but it's not going to be snowing yet. It's just, again, that's going to be a tester against the young Drake May with his new wide receiver core, and then their defense, which we hopefully should pick apart, but it's New England, and they're always a tough matchup, no matter who's the coach there, really. And then week 5 is Miami at home, and that's, I think, really the first tester. If we can beat Miami, that's kind of the tier of team we're in, because Miami is that 9-8, 8-9 team that just barely misses or just barely makes the playoff. And if we can be in that range after how bad we've been lately, I'll be super happy, especially if it's the 9-8 range. And then the game after that is against Dallas. Miami and Dallas both at home, and that's also a big reason why I think we should beat them both weeks. Dallas destroyed us last year, though, and they have Dak Prescott back. So there's a lot of stuff where I'm like nervous. I'm very nervous about that game. Dallas, I think, could be very legit again this year, and I feel like people aren't ready for that just because their running back room is so atrocious. But again, there's a very real possibility that the Cowboys will be back. Third best team in that division, I think it's going to be the Commanders in first, Eagles in second, then the Cowboys. But I think all three teams are going to be good. And I think the Giants are going to suck, obviously. It is 1:02 p.m. We got about 13 minutes left here in the sports hour. So we will look at we'll look at some AEW. How about that? How about looking forward to Dynamite tonight? The fallout from Forbidden Door. And we got some genuinely exciting matches. Darby Allin facing off against Claudio Castagnoli in a Falls Count Anywhere match? How is Darby good to go again? He kills himself every single week. Every single weekend there's a pay-per-view, and he still shows up to work. I love him. There's a reason why he's the guy on the screen with Adam Page. It's because I love him. He's awesome. Daniel Garcia facing off against Jon Moxley. That's going to be big for Garcia. A big showcase match for him. I mean, this is a guy that always we want to see step up. And I thought he was going to turn heel on Nigel. Didn't. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. And then there is a women's tag match announced. Our GOAT, our God, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford facing off against Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander. This is all going to be going down in the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, which is really, really exciting. I mean, it's one of the most historic venues of all time, and the crowd's going to be unreal. I know the crowd's going to be unreal, so very excited about that. Just seeing if there's been anything more announced that has, come out during the show, because they love doing that to me. But it doesn't look like it. And it doesn't look like it. All right. I guess the biggest thing really to talk about from Forbidden Door is that, yes, officially, Will Ospreay's out. It's being posted on the AEW Twitter account. Get well soon, bruv. So it's official. It's officially official at this point, which honestly, after all in Texas, I thought that he was going to be out longer because they did the whole chair stomp spot. The Pillmanized his neck, and then he came back relatively quick. This time, not the case. So we'll see. We'll see who steps up. if I had to predict anyone to do so, I mean, I would have predicted Brody King and Bandito, but I think, hopefully, this is Daniel Garcia's time to shine and his time to finally step up, be that guy we know he can be, lead the show. So really, this is like, it's all on the booker, of course. It's not on the wrestlers themselves. They can only do so much, but it is going to be huge to track and see Daniel Garcia's process. I mean, he's fighting Moxley tonight. This is a guy that, I mean, you want him to step up, you give him Moxley. I mean, we saw Moxley have great matches against Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, and then did it again in a tag match. So he's been putting on bangers. I have no doubt that that's going to be a banger tonight. I have zero doubt in my mind. I'm juiced. I'm so excited for a little bit of Darby Allin in a Falls Count Anywhere match. What is he going to jump off of? What is he going to do? And how is he going to kill himself? And how fascinating is it going to be to watch? Very. And it's Claudio Castagnoli, who is the perfect base. Perfect base. One of the strongest wrestlers of all time, according to other wrestlers. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see how that match ends up. And then seeing in the chat here from Austin, ain't gonna lie, if Garcia was gonna be elevated to that spot, he would have done so by now. And that's what I think so too. I think he's got the talent for that spot, but the booking, AEW, they never really consistently put him up there. He had the TNT title reign, which was great, and now he's been playing that kind of second fiddle, almost jealous of Nigel McGuinness, especially with the technical spectacle. They both had their holds in at the exact same time, and Nigel won to go to Forbidden Door, and it really seems like it should be building to him turning heel, him joining the Death Riders, which he should have joined the BCC back when it was that. And maybe now they right their wrongs, and maybe they hopefully prove you wrong, Austin. But I'm kind of with you. I don't have optimism for Danny Garcia as much as I would love to. I think he's a great wrestler, great promo, has the package. Was over, gets over again and again and again. And for some reason just doesn't get elevated to that main event. I'll never get it. I don't. So, we'll see. Maybe this is the time. Maybe, just maybe, with Will Ospreay getting written off TV, we have to bring someone in to be a mega face that the fans adore more than anything in the world, which currently is Will Ospreay for us. Ospreay. Dun, 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 dun. The next guy that I would put in that Will Ospreay camp of over to a level of loving is Eddie Kingston. So with Ospreay going down, it's priming and opening for Eddie Kingston to come back and then be that eternally loved face. That's the perfect way to turn Danny heel. Danny, as a Death Rider, kills Daddy Magic. Daddy Magic, one of the best bladers, one of the best bleeders in the industry. That would be perfect. And yeah, I see the hype from Mark Briscoe. I do, but I mean, come on. We love Mark. We love Mark with all our hearts, but I think Eddie Kingston is even more loved. Oh, and then Kenny, but we're nervous about Kenny too and his potential injuries, but it is also a big spot for him to step up. Kota Ibushi, I'm really excited to see if he, takes on more singles stuff in AEW and starts to have his own storylines. He's another one of those faces that the fans, Austin Collings especially, love with all their hearts. So it's like, that's really what I crave in AEW. It's not like, obviously, everyone's a good worker. Most guys cut a perfectly fine promo. It's how much do I love them, genuinely love them. And that's how I treat my faces. We love Ospreay. We love Kenny. We love Mark Briscoe, and we love Eddie Kingston. So that's really about who steps up. Brody King has that same amount of fans below him, and Bandito. So it's really about how much we love these guys and how beloved the faces are. And it's the same for the women's division. We love Tony. We've quickly fallen in love with Alex Windsor. And that's kind of been the feeling. Since AEW has turned a new leaf and we got out of the, That's what I was gonna say. A returning Orange Cassidy. Again, another guy that fans love. I love. The fans adore. We adore these people. We support them with our hearts and our brains, and that's special, I think, to AEW. And that's when AEW started going from hard to watch to the best show on cable, regardless of wrestling or not. It's just like that's the feeling that changed as I started really, really loving and adoring the faces. Where before, when the Death Riders started, I didn't have that same feeling for the faces. Like the tag teams, like when Private Party, I didn't love them. Not like I love the faces now. Like I do love Brodito, but again, we creative differences there. I love them as a tag team, but creative differences. Um, and then before it was, uh, just before it wasn't the same when they were doing the like AEW versus Death Riders. It felt wrong, but then it became an individualistic thing where each guy had their own reason to take up the Death Riders and for AEW. Um, and so that's the big thing. And jumping over, this is a great talking point here. Um, Reading online about how Tony and Mercedes, their title reigns are long, and they've, you know, the story of the women's division has been those two gals forever now. Forever. Basically, since Mercedes came into the company is when Tony started doing her best work as well, and they've been neck and neck for most important, and it's kind of overshined a lot of other ladies. I know for a fact that a lot of us were in the Megan Bain for champion camp to beat Tony Storm, which never came true. I know a lot of people were in the Athena camp. I know a lot of people were cheering for Mercedes Moné. And so yeah, I can agree. I fully agree that maybe the title scene needs a shakeup. I do think it will be Mercedes Moné first, as that's kind of the story they're telling on TV weekly. She is getting more and more rocked, so to say, and more out of it and less focused. And Tony Storm has been the cause of that. And so I think that she's going to be first to lose it. But I also think there's so many good challengers to Tony Storm as well. I just think, yeah, I think it's time for Megan Bain to be champion, personally. And then we'll see it tonight. She's going to dominate in that tag match. And we'll be like, yeah, okay, this is one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. And then again, switching to the TBS side, waiting for that huge Mercedes Moné crash out. Cannot wait for that. And then taking it off Mercedes Moné, we'll bring it back down to where it should have been. Because right now it's practically a world title, the TBS title, where because Mercedes Moné is so amazing, if it's gonna be given to someone else, it's gonna be brought down a peg and properly be a mid-card title for women like, you know, the Harley Camerons maybe even could compete for it. You know, mid-carders, genuine mid-carders. Girls like Julia Hart, who used to have it, Sky Blue, Tekla, Queen Amanada, girls that will never be in that, you know, main title picture right now. You know, they need that TBS title. And then that's what I was going to say. Tonight we have a big women's tag match. Where are our women's titles? Megan Bain and Penelope Ford should have been champions months ago. It's a shame they're not, because they're one of my favorite packages on TV, men or women. They work so well together. Just when they come on, they have a presence, they have an aura. They deserve tag champs. We deserve tag champs as fans. I fully welcome it, because I think AEW has one of, if not the best women's division on the planet. There's too many talented women. They're forming talented groups of women now. The spooky triangle of madness. My spooky spider ladies. They got Megan Bain, Penelope Ford. We got Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander starting a little bit of friendship here. I mean, so many tags, so many groups, and so many talented women. I mean, hey, us AEW fans, we're swimming in it. We're enjoying ourselves, and it's a good time. I almost feel greedy because I'm asking for so much stuff, but it all feels real, and it all feels warranted. It all feels like, yeah, the women deserve tag titles because they do such great work, and there's so many of them that are amazing. So we'll see. We will see. as this will wind down the Sports Hour, of course, presented by Curtis Collings. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, with our Thursday edition. Thank you very much. See you next time.